I will never accept that here.
No.
But at home, I find myself angry.
Yeah,
but I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Because also of this impression we want to give people, we are doing okay. We are doing okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want that shame of being, I am living abroad, but I cannot pay bill.
Yeah. And it's really, it's very frustrating. And especially what you're talking about, the shame and the guilt. The guilt of coming to Europe and not having made it.
Yeah. And he was really angry at me. And he abused me, telling me how mean I am. And, you know, having things and then you're not informed. It's just this passive way of making you feel bad about not giving, you know. You
and
understand what I mean?
I totally understand what you mean. And making sure you feel like you no longer belong.
And you feel useless.
Because I find this aspect of dehumanizing so important, what you've just mentioned. And at this point, Carol, I did not have money. It is possible to be in Europe and have no money. I had
It
no
is very possible.
money.
And
Zero.
it happens a lot.
It happens a lot. I had zero money to send.
Yeah.
Sometimes all I had, especially when I was a student.
But we still have that home mentality and we prioritize the things that are important back home than prioritizing the things that are important here in this country.
And this is how the culture is here. You have good people, you have friends, you have your sisters, but they are far away. So you need yourself. You need your sanity. You need to have your system together. Otherwise, when you break, then your whole system breaks. You cannot pay your taxes. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot pay your insurance. You are always full of guilt when you don't have the money. And even when you have the money and you send it, it doesn't have the same value. If you had given it to someone when you are still in Kenya. If I am in Kenya and I'm your friend, I come and give you 20,000 Kenyan shillings. This will mean the world.
Yes.
This will be such a big gesture. People will be grateful. People will go to church and pray for you. But
you will get you'll be blessed. They will pray and the Holy Spirit will be called.
But you send that money from here.
You send 200 euros from here?
Yeah. It's like it changes the value. It's received as if it's 20 shillings. Like, how do we take care of ourselves? Even as we pay the black tax.
Hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite conversations, Far From Home Diaspora Conversations. We always start by thanking you for, consuming our content. Thanking you for sharing and commenting. We love reading those comments from you. And I'm your host, Carol Mullenbrock.
And I'm your other host, Wamboi.
Yeah. And, I have to look serious, guys, because some of you has been seeing me there kwa TikTok giving moshene, might think that I'm not a serious person. I am. But when we are doing some moshene there on TikTok, waithira ametura. These things we have to have fun. Yeah. So just for laughs.
No, it's good. We accept that. We accept you the way you are with all your many hats. Even the moshene waithira. I listened to that and I wondered, is this Carol? I couldn't believe it. Guys, if you've not seen the moshene part, go and look for it. It's actually, sometimes I don't believe you. But it's your talent.
Those are parts of me. And I like taking out every part of me. And if it makes someone laugh.
Yeah.
And what I'm also doing with this is educating people about the German culture. Yeah, just your moshene, I give you some moshene about what is happening around here. Just go check it out on TikTok. Waithira ametura.
And the mutura is good, guys. Anyway, shall we come back to serious topics?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Today we actually have quite a serious topic, and I'm sure most of you diasporans who, especially those who come from Africa, but also our other Afro-diasporic places in the world, will really, really identify with this. We want to talk about the black tax.
Yes.
And when you hear the black tax, maybe some of you are asking yourself, what is this? So in general, black tax is the money that we send home, that we just send back home. And in this conversation, we just want to explore that whole topic of how are we sending money home? Why do we send money home? And do we manage to also live in this country, even as we send money home? And the purpose of this is not to tell you guys not to send money home. Please don't understand us wrongly. Like we always say, the purpose of our conversations is to tell our stories, our experiences. So it's okay if your experience is different, but we are still hoping that maybe some of you can identify with this and maybe help someone.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is something that affects all of us. And we all know that some of our families need this help.
Yeah.
And it is okay to do that. The only thing I sometimes have a problem with is that we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Not forget, you cannot. It's not possible.
Yeah.
You know, because the what people think is that we have a bathtub full of money, which is not true.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
And some of us, or many, push themselves really to the edge. And for years and years and years, and they're not, they're not living. I would say that. Yeah.
And I also think it's interesting to look at the fact that many of us really send money home. Like there's a time I was looking at the news. It's in the billions how much money is sent home. But we also pay taxes here. And the people we send the money home with do not have to tax that money. So they basically get the full amount of the money.
Yeah.
And as we are basically always living in minus, but it's never the same amount. It's like if I send you 100 euros, I am still taxed, but you get the whole 100 euros, it even comes more to you. Like right now, I think if I send money home 100 euros, maybe it will be 150, 15,000 Kenyan shillings.
Yeah, around that amount, yeah.
But I will no longer have this money. And people always think, yeah, it's just 100 euros is not much, but it is a big amount of money.
It is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we have to work so hard for that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is what people don't think about. Because when you're working in a job where maybe you're getting about €12.50 an hour, you work like 5 hours for that money.
Yeah.
And some people even deny themselves, I will not call that luxury, but you cannot afford to buy yourself nice things, for example. And many people don't even go on holidays. That is also something we were talking about, how we feel like, the pressure of when I have some money, I'll send it home.
Yeah. Or I'll go home.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah. Like for me, it was always like, Carol, I don't have a license. And for guys, what this means for me is that whenever
a driving license. Yeah.
So whenever I come to record this podcast, it always means that I'm on the road at least 3 hours. If I had a car, it would be less than 1 hour.
Yeah.
So these are journeys that I'm taking every time to come and go back. So this is 6 hours of my life that I'm spending.
Yeah.
And it's not just coming here, it's going everywhere.
Yeah.
But now the license in Germany costs a lot of money. So, and I used to save, like I would save a whole year and maybe have like 1,200 on the side. And then I will think, do I start the license? Do I send this money home or do I go home? And it was always, okay, let me go home and then I'll do the license. So there's always this burden of, and it's not like I'm going home to have fun or to relax. I'm going home because I need to go home, But it's not like I'm going for recreation. For me, going back home has never been recreation.
No, it's never a holiday
It's not
in
a
that
holiday.
sense. No.
So it doesn't add up. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to go home. I do want to go home, but sometimes I feel like maybe if I had for 1 year not gone home and done my lessons,
which is so important.
Yeah, it's a basic need
and
in Germany.
Just tell them, how many years have you been in Germany?
I've been in Germany for 13 years.
Can you imagine 13 years? What people, what the idea people have of being Maju abroad.
Yeah.
One boy has been here for 13 years. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't have a driving license.
Yeah.
And
I have a good job.
Yeah.
But because to start a license is so much money, you need so much money as a start. You have to have a bulk of money to be able to start it. So it recurs. Every year you don't do it because every time you have money, the thing you do most is to do something for back home.
Yeah, and I think we also, we are living in this country, but we still have that home mentality and we prioritize the things that are important back home than prioritizing the things that are important here in this country.
It's so
because
true.
Here, when a kid gets to 16, 17, the first thing they do is
to get a license.
Driving license. It's not like us, like going for computer packages, computer lessons. It's getting a driving license. So that means it is so important to have that here for you to be able to move. And that is what will also make you maybe get a better job because you have a car, you can move around.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine coming here was a job that you were supposed to be here at 2 or at 3. And all the chaos that are on the roads using public means.
I will never be able to do that job.
No.
And it's not like, in Kenya, having a car is a sign of a status. It's a status quo thing.
Yeah.
So if you have a car, you've made it. In Germany, it isn't.
No,
it has nothing to do with your status.
It's almost like having a roof over your head.
Yes.
It's such a basic
basic need. Yeah. But because we live in this, or let me just talk about myself. I live in this, there are values here and there are values back home. And every time I make a decision, which values am I looking at? Like I was telling you yesterday, when I was a student, I bought land because that's a value back home that when you have a piece of land, now in Kenya, having a piece of land is also like a basic need, It's what you need.
Yeah.
In Germany, having a piece of land is not a basic need. You don't have to have a piece of land.
Yeah.
You can live your life without a piece of land.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, you can also live in Kenya without a piece of land, but it makes a lot of sense to have a piece of land.
Yeah.
So I'm here buying a piece of land back home.
As a student.
And
you told us how your life was as a student.
Yes.
So you were struggling.
I was struggling, working
to buy
3 jobs.
a piece of land in Kenya, which does not help you at all with your life here.
No.
Because it's not like you've built and it's earning you money. It's not.
Yeah.
So it would have made sense that time to do a driving license than buying that land.
It would have helped me so much more. If I could go back and make this decision, guys, I will never buy that piece of land. I would do my license. And I'm going to do my license, but just looking back at all the decisions I've made, because I was here and I was back home, that is really, it really gets into the core of my bones. Because I feel like I could have sent money home and still made other decisions that, well, I somehow also regret actually to this point.
Yeah.
So, Carol, do you send money home?
I do. But it came to a point where I decided to take care of myself. And especially after my kids came or my kids were born, because I thought these kids are born here. These kids have to have the standard of life that is in this country. I will not deny them things for me to be able to send money back home. If there's somebody who's sick, if they, those things, we always do that. I'm always, doing as much as I can. But because I also know that my family is not one that is dying of hunger, they can take care of themselves, then I refuse to feel guilty for not adding on to what they already have. Yeah. Because I'll not leave myself empty to add. And that comes, these lessons come after you see how you're being treated, of course.
Yeah.
Because, at some point you're dehumanized. Nobody's looking into your feelings and they just think you have this money.
Yeah.
You have this money. So, and if you're not giving us, it means you're just not giving us. It's not like nobody asks, how are you doing? Can you afford that? Can, these questions are not there. It's like, it is expected.
Yeah.
Even when it is not said, it is expected. You see it in everybody's eyes. You see it in the way people, even using reverse psychology of not talking to you, not asking you for it, having things and then you're not informed. It's just this passive way of making you feel bad about not giving, You
and
understand what I mean?
I totally understand what you mean. And making sure you feel like you no longer belong.
And you feel useless.
Because I find this aspect of dehumanizing so important, what you've just mentioned, because this money, and the sad thing is that we are dehumanized. Once you enter that plane and you go to another country in Maju, in the West. I don't know if this happens to people who like go to Uganda or South Africa. I think this happens generally when you go to the West.
A white place.
Yes.
Yeah. Because whiteness is associated with money.
So you are automatically, as soon as you land, you are automatically supposed to be sending money. And the sad thing is, we also expect this from ourselves.
Yes.
So if you are always full of guilt when you don't have the money, and even when you have the money and you send it, it doesn't have the same value. If you had given it to someone when you are still in Kenya. If I am in Kenya and I'm your friend, I come and give you 20,000 Kenyan shillings. This will mean the world.
Yes.
This will be such a big gesture. People will be grateful. People will go to church and pray for you. But
you will get you'll be blessed. They will pray and the Holy Spirit will be called.
But you send that money from here.
You send 200 euros from here?
Yeah. It's like it changes the value. It's received as if it's 20 shillings. Because people simply do not see how you have to work hard for this money. I remember there's a friend of mine who wrote me a message one day. This is a person who had not talked to me for years. They had never asked me how I'm doing. They had never asked me, did you land safely? They had never asked me anything about my life. So basically, they did not even know in which country basically I live in. And they wrote me and told me they were getting married if I would send them money. And at this point, Carol, I did not have money. It is possible to be in Europe and have no money. I had no
money. It is very possible.
Money,
and it happens a lot.
It happens a lot. I had zero money to send. Sometimes all I had, especially when I was a student, I had noodles and tomato sauce. This is what I was living in. I will cook my noodles because it costs less than €1, and tomato sauce also costs less than €1. That will be my dinner. So this person asked me for money and I'm like, I'm sorry. I really just can't send it. And the message I got after that, you have changed. I will never have believed you to be like this. I will never have believed you not to help me out when I'm in need. And even things like, maybe you should, especially this really hurt me. He told me, maybe you should ask God for your purpose. If your purpose was supposed to be there. And I thought, wow. So I am supposed to question my whole life, all the decisions I have ever made, because I cannot support you in your marriage. Not even marriage, actually, wedding. Do you see how it's so crazy that I should ask God if I'm fulfilling my purpose? And this hurt me so much. I remember it broke my heart, especially when people were important to you. And all of a sudden they say such words.
Oh, yes.
Then it means so much and it hurts so much.
I had a similar case with a friend now, not family. This thing about Rurashio and wedding. And this person, he was a very good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine. He has a job that pays so well. So well. And then he wrote to me and he said he's going for Rurashio and he's asking for money.
Rurashio is Mitgift in German, but I don't remember the English word for it.
It's when you go to meet the family of your, especially the man going to meet the family of the woman, and they mostly, it's still like that they take money and gifts and all that to the family. So, but that is a very, and I get that the tradition is like, you have a few friends who are taking you, but I don't know why we have to burden people with that. And also expect and demand that people help you.
Yeah.
And if I was in Kenya, I told him, if I was there, I would come, I would cook for you, I would, just being there for a friend. But I did not have money to give him. And he was really angry at me. And he abused me, telling me how mean I am. And the friendship broke after that. And we were really good friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Why?
It's that
you have money. You have money.
Yeah.
It's not like he didn't have money. And when I know and I help where I feel like help is needed, I always do that. But when I don't feel like I need to help, I will not do. I will not push myself to a corner to make somebody else's life better while I'm suffering.
Yeah.
No.
And it's not even a basic need.
No.
Wedding Rurashio is not a basic need. No. You know when someone is sick and dying, we move things.
Yeah. If he told me my dad is sick, he's in hospital, he has a hospital bill of 10 million, and we are, collecting harambee, that one is a reason. That is a reason for me to go back deep into my pockets and try to see what I have.
Go back to your savings.
Yeah. But somebody abusing you because you do not give them some money for Rurashio, please. If you're getting married, have your shit together.
Yeah, get married with the money you have.
Yes.
I don't understand this thing of marriage and big money. Just use the money that you have to get married.
Yeah. You don't have to do big weddings to impress people.
No.
And you're using our money.
Yes. Especially if you can't afford
us
more.
to give you money for that.
Yeah. Because really, sometimes you don't have money. And sometimes you do have money. Like, there are times, like right now, I earn a salary. And I go to the sauna every month, Carol. Every month. It is a ritual. And we used to do that together. And it's not working so well because we're far away and I'm working different times. But right now, for me, it is a ritual. I am going to the sauna, whether you have food or not.
Yeah.
Because you know what people also don't understand home is, you do not need these things at home. Of course, you can be depressed in Kenya. But the rate of being depressed here, when you're far away from people you know, from your
lack
culture,
of community.
There's no community in this country. Really, you rarely have anyone. Like, you are one of my closest friends, but you live so far away. So if something happened, if I didn't have food, I could not come to you.
Yeah, you could not come here in the evening and eat food.
No, because if I don't have food,
you don't even have money for
I
the
don't have
bus.
money for the train.
Yeah.
So that will not be a possibility. And this is how the culture is here. You have good people, you have friends, you have your sisters, but they are far away. So you need yourself. You need your sanity. You need to have your system together. Otherwise, when you break, then your whole system breaks. You cannot pay your taxes. You cannot pay your rent. You cannot pay your insurance. And these are things I also tell my parents. I'm paying insurance. I'm paying rent. I'm paying taxes. The money
and
that
a
I
lot.
get, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So So the money I get on paper, you can look at that money and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
But by the time you're done spending that money, actually, by the time it comes to your account on the 2nd of the month,
on the 4th, everything has been.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all gone. So how now, if I do not take care of myself, and this is actually what we really want to go into today, like how do we take care of ourselves, even as we pay the black tax in itself? How do we manage to navigate this? Because otherwise it breaks us.
Yeah.
Kara, I've seen so many people on Facebook, online, people who kill themselves.
Yeah.
It's not a rare thing.
The pressure. It's just too much.
Yeah.
And I think what is also important for me and maybe for everybody else is learning, because we don't have this community, is learning to have new ways to take care of yourself. Like you say, going to the sauna, just embracing also the culture in this country.
Yeah.
Because some of these things, you would not consider them important while you are living in Kenya.
Yes.
And when you tell somebody, I take, I don't know how many euros to go to the sauna, they would ask, are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
That is my rent for the whole month.
Yeah.
I could help you pay that rent for that 1 month, but I'm going crazy here.
Yeah.
I need, the hours we work, Wamboi. You also know how, you need this time.
Yeah.
And I remember, for example, the first time I had worked so hard, and then I went and bought myself boots. I won't say how much I bought them for, but they were expensive.
I know how much they were. They were expensive.
They were expensive.
Yeah.
And I was feeling so good about buying myself these boots. And I went there and I tried them. And I was feeling so good because I had worked so hard and I was able to afford this. And I love shoes. I think you've noticed by now. I love shoes. And I loved nice shoes.
Yeah.
And then
you have
came
nice
out.
shoes.
Yeah. I came out of that shop, went and sat down for coffee, and I almost cried. Guilt. And I was like, this is 2 months rent for my sister. That's how much they were. They were expensive. 2 months. And I felt so guilty. Why didn't I send her? Maybe I should have bought cheaper ones and then send a part of that money. But then later I was thinking to myself, why?
Yeah.
I deserve that.
Yeah.
I deserve feeling good about the work I'm doing, and also, seeing the rewards of it.
Yeah.
Feeling that I'm working so hard, I can now afford myself this, and not feeling guilty about it. So I think I'm over that. I'm over this feeling guilty when I afford myself things. Now those things that, I'm not getting so much pleasure out of buying things like I used to in the beginning, because these were things that I was lacking when I was in Kenya. So it was about acquiring these things, acquiring. So nowadays it's self-care, like going to the sauna. I also do that once a month. It's going on holiday, like we did together.
Yeah.
And, a few weeks ago, you were also in Atlanta.
Yes, I was, guys. I was in Atlanta.
Yes.
And maybe I tell you just a little bit about Atlanta, because you did not see me for 2 weeks, I think.
Here's a quick one to tell you about our sponsors, TDX Media. I've been working with TDX Media for about 5 years now, and this has saved my life, literally saved my life. TDX Media has a way of helping you to optimize your office work. So I am a very chaotic person. My office was looking like you can imagine it. And then TDX Media came, and they really helped me to optimize the processes, especially the processes of how I work, what should happen when, they came and advised me. They came and sorted out most of my files and all that, because I am not that. And then my website, it's beautiful because it is being maintained, it is being serviced by TDX Media. And then the CEO of the company, Christian Tiedemann, who does all that, comes to you, advises you, he talks to you, he listens to your needs, and then crafts everything according to how you need it, but adding his professionalism in everything that he does, such that at the end of it all, and he will not use anything he doesn't think is okay for the person visiting your website. So if your photos are not good enough, then he'll not put them in. And that is the level of professionalism that I need when I'm working with someone, so that they just don't do everything I tell them to do. They tell me, okay, it's your website, but it has my name on it. So he will not do anything that is not professional enough. And the other thing is event management. Guys, these guys are so organized. TDX Media is so organized. They have taken control and over. They organize our African festival, which happens every year. So I have nothing to do with it. The first year I organized it myself. I almost went crazy. And nowadays I just get calls, or when we're talking, it's a yes, no, and I have nothing to do with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love working with these people. I love the way they, present themselves in a way that is, I will talk about professionalism the whole time, because that is what they are. They are professionals. And you see that in everything they do. When they're doing consultations with you, they are very specific in everything that they're doing. You can only be satisfied when you're working with TDX Media. And I'm so glad that I have trusted us now to sponsor our podcast. And I've been working with them all this time, satisfied with their work. I'll continue working with them. So please visit their website, www.tidix.de. That's www.tidexx.de. Visit them, because you'll be doing yourself a favor. Thank you so much.
When I went to Atlanta, I think that was the first time since I came to Germany when I went for holiday to see somebody else other than my family. I think every time I have set aside some money, and of course the holiday in Atlanta, it was taken care of by my very good friend. My very good friend, I know you're watching this. I appreciate you. But it was the very first time that I took a flight and went somewhere, not to see my family, but to see someone else, and without feeling guilty about it. Because normally, whenever I want to go somewhere else on holiday, I think, but I could also go home. Now, the problem of going home is whenever I go home, I don't relax, because I'm there, of course, to see my family, and I do want to see my family. And also when I go home, I spend a lot of money, because I pay school fees for other people. I spend a lot of money buying
When you're
gifts.
there, you're doing all the shopping.
When I'm there, I do all the shopping.
Which we love doing.
Yeah.
But of course, you're in minus.
Yes, I always come back in minus.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even go out with friends. And my friends in Kenya, if you're listening to this, sometimes I go out with friends. They bring friends. They sit down in a restaurant.
And expect you to pay.
And they eat. And they do not tell me I'm the one paying. And when we are done, it's obvious.
It is
expected
an unspoken thing. You are paying.
Yeah.
You are from a Jew.
Yeah.
You are paying.
Yeah. And this is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Going out to eat in Kenya, especially if you've ordered alcohol, it's a huge amount of money. If you will just put in a few money, some money yourself, or you warn me first.
Yeah.
Tell me, could you invite me for dinner?
Yeah.
And then allow me also to choose where we are going.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? You can't leave me there with a bill of 300 euros.
Yes.
That is unfair. It is really unfair. And this dehumanizing of people, and even we dehumanizing ourselves, because I would never accept that in Germany. If I went out with German friends,
you'd never,
and they ate,
yeah,
and they left me with a bill, I would ask them, are you crazy? I will never accept that here.
No.
But at home, I find myself angry. But I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
Because also of this impression we want to give people, we are doing okay. We are doing okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want that shame of being I am living abroad, but I cannot pay
a
bill.
Yeah.
So you end up getting angry and not having money, and you come here and you start struggling after that.
Yeah.
But everybody else is happy, and they'll want more. Like we were
Yes.
saying yesterday, it's a hole that you can never fill.
It's a freaking black hole.
It's a black hole where you just put and put and put.
Yeah.
And this hole never fills up.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter how much money you send home. It will never be enough.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's very frustrating. And especially what you're talking about, the shame and the guilt. The guilt of coming to Europe and not having made it.
Yeah.
And I think this is even why we started this podcast, because of what does it mean to have made it? Because you're never allowed to come and live. Live your life. Sort yourself out. When you're living here and you're not asking your parents for money, you are taking care of your bills, you're taking care of your studies or whatever it is, you are living. It should be enough.
Yeah.
It should actually just be enough. And sending money should be a bonus.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's never, it's expected and it's never enough. Like if I was given back all the money I have sent home, I don't know.
Don't even think about it.
It would be so much.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
It would be, and the other thing is, if you happened to now, after sending all that money to family and helping them do that and paying school fees for people and, all these things we do. I think everybody in the diaspora knows these things.
Yeah.
And then something happens and you go to Kenya and of course you don't have money. You'll be the laugh of town.
Yeah. How dare you?
Ametoka maju with nothing? Like you're broke? What were you doing all these years?
All these years.
What were you doing all these years?
Yeah. And you sit down yourself and ask yourself the same question.
Yeah.
I think there's one person, when I went back to Kenya, I had managed to do my bachelor's in German. I was proud of myself. I had studied in the German language and managed to get a German degree. So this is what I had to show. And I went back home thinking, hey,
people will be proud of you. Yeah.
Look what I've done. I've managed to study in another language and actually made it. And there's another person who also was very important to me, who asked me, so what do you have to show? 3 years.
You don't have and they were showing the house. Yeah.
They were showing me what they had done. And they had done great things because, of course, they were much older than me. They had already started their process. Now, if you're already in your process of your restaurant, in 3 years, you're going to be far.
Of course, yeah.
And even me, I had started my process of studying. And in 3 years, I had managed to finish. So that was my process. But they asked me, what do you have to show? 3 years of your life. You have no kids. You don't have a house. You don't have money.
Yeah.
What do you have? And of course, you look
for
at
them,
that degree.
That is valueless for them. Yeah.
And I looked at that degree and wondered, was it worth it?
Yeah. It makes you feel so useless.
You feel useless.
You feel so useless.
Yeah.
And now you want to give whatever you have so that you don't look that useless.
Yes.
You look like... So next time, you're trying to give even more for people to see that you're doing okay. You're not this useless person.
Yes.
And that is...
And that's how I managed to get myself into minus for the very first time. Because all this time I had been living within my means. With my 3 jobs, I was even saving money. But after hearing that, that's the first time I got myself into minus. Because I could not stand
people thinking
of feeling useless. What have you done in 3 years? And then another 3 years. Of course, I could show I have done my master's degree. But who cares? People will even tell you everybody has a master's degree. It's not true.
No, it's not.
Not everybody has a master's degree.
No.
But people will tell you, everybody has that. Because you went all the way.
Yeah. They want you to feel small. They make it so small.
They make you feel
because
small.
What is expected of you is this flashy life.
Yeah.
It's expected you're driving a big car. It's expected you're building a big house. It's expected you're sitting people in a restaurant. You're paying for them. So if you're not doing all that, you're such a useless person.
Yeah. And of course, we see many people who come from abroad and go back home and do these things.
Yeah.
So you always wonder, what are they doing?
Yeah. What are they doing different? People,
Yeah.
there's something I'm doing wrong.
What am
in
I
my
doing
life
wrong? Yes.
that I don't have all this money.
Yeah.
But these are individual stories. Everybody has their
a
story.
story. Yeah.
And I cannot, what happened from where I come from. There were all these ladies who had European men, and they were building big houses in Nanyuki, where I come from. And that is the picture we had of women with European men, some living abroad, some still living in Kenya, but they were getting a lot of money to build their houses and all that. So that is the standard that was
set.
Yeah, was set for European women with European husbands, and also somebody who is abroad. But I was not that. So you're made to feel, hey, look at all the others, what they are doing, what they have done. Even, they are building houses here and they're doing all these big things. You're not told, and that is what I mean by this aggressive, passively showing you what a useless person you are. So they don't tell you have not done. They tell you what everybody else have done.
Yeah. And it's
and
everybody.
look, yes, and look, when they come, they bring gifts for everybody. And you get so tired of this talks, and you come back feeling so bad about yourself.
Yeah.
You come back feeling so useless.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking about doing these things. Like you said, you're buying land, which is not helping you at all.
No.
At the moment.
At the moment, it's not.
It is just there. It is just there. And it's okay. Having land is okay. But this may be something you should have done 10 years later, after having your license, after having all this, after getting all these basic needs that you have here.
Yeah.
That is something you could have done.
Fill your cup first.
Yeah.
Really just living from your... Because I think if we don't put a stop to it at some point, it breaks us.
Yeah. You live a very empty life.
Yeah.
You live a very empty life.
Yeah.
And then seeing how it is not even appreciated.
Yeah.
That is the other one.
Yeah.
It's expected more and more and more is expected of you. Nobody appreciates it. Nobody cares how you're doing. Nobody calls you to ask you, how are you? And that is so painful.
Yeah. Sometimes you even tell people, oh, I'm not feeling so well. And the response will be, yeah, but at least you're in Germany. So it's like being in Germany automatically makes you feel better. And I'm not saying being in Germany it is not a good thing for me. It is. In many ways, I live a much, much, much better life than I was living in Kenya.
Yes.
And it's not a money thing. It's not about the money. I just have other possibilities to be able to live my life here than I was doing it in Kenya.
Yeah.
Of course, I never really lived in Kenya as a grown-up, so I don't know what I would be doing if I was in Kenya. But, this just automatically thinking, the moment you fly to somewhere, you have more money. I think it's something that we need to stop.
Yeah.
Because it's really, literally, it's fatal. It kills people.
Yeah.
And some of us, it breaks relationships. I know there are many people who no longer talk to me today because I didn't send them money. I released them with love, really.
Yeah.
But I'm no longer willing.
Yeah.
I'm no longer willing, and I also don't have that much. Like Corona, what's the decision I made about sending money? I feel like I would be unhappy if I didn't send my mom money. It's part of what I want to do. I don't have to be forced to do it. It's something that I want to do. So what I do, the only person I send money is my mom. And I only send it once a month. So I put it as one of my costs. Like the way I send, I have to pay rent every month. I have to pay insurance every month. It belongs to one of my costs. I no longer have to think about it. This is the amount that also always just goes. If things come in the middle of the month, these days I say no.
I'm not able to.
I don't even think about it. I just tell myself, no, what day is it? Is it the 16th? No. Wait until the beginning of the month. Then I'll have money. And then I have realized that it's, for me, it makes my life so much easier. Because then I know I can live with this decision. Because before that, I always reacted to things. Was there school fees to be sent? I react to that. Was there some other problem that needed to be fixed? I react to that. So, and you always react with money because you're not present. You have no other possibility. Like the way you were saying, you could have cooked. You have no other possibility of
be there,
of being there other than financially. So you react, and not just to family. You react to friends who are getting married. You react to friends who died. And in the end of the month, you send so much money, but you don't really know how. But the next month comes with new problems. You see, that's the problem. If it was something you would say,
it's a hole we are talking about.
Fix
it's
this
a black
problem
hole.
and it's done. Okay. But it never finishes, and you never see what you're doing. And if there's something that is surely going to break you, is to constantly work on something that you can't see it growing. You just put energy in it. And it never gives back anything. Even Jesus cast that tree that looked good, but it didn't have fruits to show. So there are no fruits. If you invest in a business, there are fruits that you see. Even if you're a businesswoman, so you know this, you invest money, but once in a while you see, oh, this decision was good because it's paying back here. But this sending money home, there is no point in life you see, this is where I put my money in. So it never gives you anything. And automatically it makes you feel useless.
Empty. Empty. And you're also made, like I'm insisting, you're made to feel.
You are made.
You're made to feel useless. And I also want to talk to people with kids in the diaspora.
Oh yes.
You work hard. You even maybe have a husband who's providing. And what we are doing, instead of affording these kids the life that they're supposed to have here in the diaspora, you don't go maybe on short holidays with you don't have to have much.
No.
You don't have to have much.
Yeah.
But if these kids are on holiday, they have school holidays.
Yeah.
Just go with them somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't send that 200 euro because your kids need to feel like all the other kids.
Yeah.
Do you know how it is? And I can understand if it's not possible for you to do that. I can understand that. But there are other possibilities that are not so expensive. You don't have to fly somewhere. You don't have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But think about the next time you're sending money, what you're not affording your kid. Also a bit saving for your kid.
Yeah.
Saving a little. That is, I'm telling you, if you want to call it selfish, call it selfish. But when my kids came, I decided I have to look after my kids.
And that is your responsibility.
Yeah, this is mine.
Because who else do they
kids
have?
Are my responsibility.
Yeah.
And we also talked about relationships that break. Like here, husbands and wives.
Yeah.
If you have a white husband, a German husband, and you're trying to send money all the time home, it becomes a problem.
Yes.
Because first of all, they don't have that culture. And we are not saying it is not okay to send home. It is okay, like one boy said, her mother, but you have to put some boundaries for yourself. That is all we are talking about.
Yeah.
Put boundaries for yourself.
Yeah. And like you're saying, like the first thing after holidays, the first thing I ask my students is, what did you do over the holidays?
Exactly.
And our kids already feel different.
Yeah.
So always putting them in that position of never having a story to tell. It is really, really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Or allowing them to go on holidays when there are school holidays, because sometimes we go with our students somewhere. They have money for that.
Yeah, paying for these school trips.
Yeah. Pay for it.
Yeah.
Set aside, if you set aside, I don't know, 10 euros per month, it will be enough.
Yeah.
For
and our
that child
kids
to go
already feel
somewhere.
different.
Yeah.
But if you're excluding them from all these experiences that these other kids have, they feel excluded all the time. They have no story to tell.
Yeah.
And then they start getting aggressive. And you know why? They're angry. They're ashamed.
Yeah.
And there's no more powerful feeling than shame.
Shame is the worst.
Shame will make you do things. Oh my God.
Yes.
The same way we carry shame because we think we are not helping our families is the same shame you're extending to your kids.
Yeah.
And they're feeling shame because, their home is like this. My mother cannot afford this. And it's not like you cannot afford it. It's like you send all the money back home and you're financing a house there and you're financing another project. If you have enough money to do that, by all means,
by all means. Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But don't forget that you're living in this country.
Yeah.
Your life is here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also forget that, of course, we grew up with many problems.
Yeah.
Of course, we never, I did not grow with any form of luxury, but I had a different kind of childhood.
Yeah.
I had
Very
other
different.
ways
Yeah.
of feeling happy.
Yeah.
I had other ways of belonging. I could go outside and play kati with my neighbors. We will just go out in the morning. You just go out and immediately you belong.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not what our kids have here.
No.
They never belong.
No.
They rarely make an experience of, oh, I am part of this group.
Yeah.
They constantly have to try to do this.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that you can't compare, like the way I never went on holidays and
Holiday
I
was
survived,
not a necessity
or
in
birthday,
Kenya.
or even in Kenya, birthday. It wasn't a necessity.
I don't know where I was on my 16th, my 18th.
No, it wasn't important.
No.
But you know what we did? We went for hikes with the church.
Yeah.
It wasn't on our birthday.
Yeah.
But that was something that we did that gave me joy. We went to church camps. That was something that we did that gave me joy. So
these kids
don't have this.
Yeah.
And they also don't have the German stuff.
Yeah.
So what do they have?
And you might not see the importance and the necessity of these things yourself. Because these are, sometimes you think, what is this bullshit? But then for your kids, because you want them to be a part of whatever is happening, a part of this society and what they are doing, please let us do ourselves and our kids this favor of making them be a part of this society, which includes, of course, finances. Trying to afford them things, not to exclude them in these activities and this is their home. Don't forget that. This is their home.
Yeah.
You can, you come from Kenya, you come from Nigeria, you come from wherever, but for these kids, this is the only home they know.
Yeah. Even when you take them home, that will be your home. They are coming to visit.
They are coming to visit your home.
Yeah.
So please give them the life that is normal for this place you're living now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are many possibilities to do so, even when you have less money.
Yeah. It's not always about money.
No.
Yeah.
It's about, do you want to do it?
There's a part of it.
Yeah.
And what we are saying is, don't send all of it home. Just to have that big house that everybody's talking about. If she went abroad, she has built a big house. You don't need that house. You're living here.
Yeah. And let's, maybe to wrap up this, let's tell the truth.
Yes.
This helped me so much. Once I talked to my mom and I was like, Mom, this is the money I earn. This is how I spend it. And this is all I can manage. And just talking the truth and telling people home how I am actually doing has changed my relationship with my family immensely. I do not have to put on a show that I am not.
Yeah.
Because that just taxes me.
That's true.
Let's tell the truth. I live a comfortable life, but I'm not rich.
No.
And I'm good with that. So let's tell the truth. Let's tell people back home, this is how the situation is. And some people will love you, some people will not. And it's totally okay to let people go.
Yeah.
It's even okay to let some family members go.
Yeah. At some point you'll have to do that. It's,
It is as it is.
It is the way it is. And when you fight with reality, you lose.
You always lose.
You always lose. Yeah. So I think we have to wrap up this conversation.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
So it's my turn for the hot seat question.
Yes.
Okay. But my hot seat questions, of course, they're not that bad.
I saw a comment from Newish saying, Wambo, you have to ask Carol really hot seat questions.
Yeah?
Someone
said that?
Yeah, Newish. You wrote that. Please let her have these questions. It's okay.
Okay, then let me maybe try to up my game at this point.
You don't have to, Wambo.
I know what these guys mean when they say that. So let me up my game and ask you, Carol, at this moment, how is your sex life? Or should I just shut up? Or is it non-existent?
Boy. Do you really have to do that?
You're the one who told me Newish wants the hot seat questions. I mean, I wanted to ask something nice like, what will you invest in the
that
future?
was a mistake. That was now I'm blushing. I'm feeling hot. Sex life. What is that?
I'm so sorry. What is that? I think she said it all.
That is a life outside of myself.
Okay.
So it is at the moment non-existent. Except, of course, you're talking about fornicating with yourself. That is something else.
That will be the next one.
That is something else.
The next one will be when was the last time?
Yeah, one boy. Let me tell you now, and I'm being honest. Relationships are difficult, and I think we'll have that topic of dating in the diaspora.
Yeah.
So after separating from my husband, you try a few things here and there, but I also have kids. That means I am so conscious about who and what I show my kids. So even if I wanted to, I would not be bringing people, And I don't have so many possibilities to go and meet people elsewhere.
She lives in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. And my job does not allow me to be out on weekends and all that.
Yeah.
So my possibility of meeting people is very limited. Of course, I could go on Tinder and look for...
Or here, maybe there's a gentleman listening.
And just look for some... No. At the moment, I'm just looking for new ways to excite and satisfy myself. Let me say that.
That is good.
Yeah.
That sounds
And I'm okay with it at the moment. At the moment. And sex is not a thing that is for me so important. If I got somebody I could hold and touch, and I think that's more important, because an orgasm I can give it to myself, and a good one, like that's something I'm good at.
Newish, are you happy?
Yes, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not the only the thing I am looking for. I look for other things, and until I get that, I'll continue fornicating with myself.
With yourself.
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this conversation.
Yeah.
She's still sweating. So,
and we'll just go eat. I've made something for you, but we'll end it at this point and go have something to eat. Thank you so much for watching. My heart is beating so fast.
Let her continue shaking. And do tell us, please, how do you deal with the issue of black tax?
Yeah.
How are you sending money home? Are you sending money home? Have you made some decisions? You let us know in the comments. Maybe it might help someone.
Yeah.
How have
Share
you
your
managed?
experiences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And also on self-fornication, if you want, you can also. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching. See you next week.